Vietnamese cuisine doesn't win any points for complexity. Many of the most popular dishes can be made just as well on the side of the road as in a top-end restaurant. But it's precisely this simplicity, the subtle variations by region and the fresh ingredients, that keep us pulling up a plastic stool for more. Here are 40 foods from Vietnam you can't miss. 1. Pho. What list of Vietnamese cuisine would be complete without pho? It's almost impossible to walk a block in Vietnam's major destinations without bumping into a crowd of hungry patrons slurping noodles at a makeshift pho stand. This simple staple, consisting of a salty broth, fresh rice noodles, a sprinkling of herbs and chicken or beef, features predominantly in the local diet, and understandably so. It's cheap, tasty, and widely available at all hours. 2. Cha Ca. Hanoians consider cha ca to be so exceptional that there is a street in the capital dedicated to these fried morsels of fish. This namesake alley is home to Ca La Vong, which serves sizzling chunks of fish seasoned with garlic, ginger, turmeric and dill on a hot pan tableside. Ca La Vong may be the busiest, but the service is a bit gruff and the food overpriced. 3. Banh Xeo. A good banh xeo is a crispy crepe bulging with pork, shrimp, and bean sprouts, plus the garnish of fresh herbs that are characteristic of most authentic Vietnamese dishes. To enjoy when like a local, cut it into manageable slices, roll it up in rice paper or lettuce leaves and dunk it in whatever special sauce the chef has mixed up for you.
4. Cao Lao. This pork noodle dish from Hoan is a bit like the various cultures that visited the trading port at its prime. The thicker noodles are similar to Japanese udon. The crispy wonton crackers and pork are a Chinese touch, while the broth and herbs are clearly Vietnamese. Authentic Cao Lao is made only with water drawn from the local Ba well. 5. Rau muong. Some might call it riverweed, with good reason, but that doesn't stop the masses from scarfing down platefuls of morning glory, usually stir-fried and seasoned with slithers of potent garlic. Rau muong is common at Vietnamese restaurants and beer gardens. 6. Nem Ran. Vietnam's bite-sized crunchy spring rolls might not enjoy the same popularity as their healthier fresh equivalent, but they deserve a special mention. The crispy shell with a soft veggie and meat filling dunked in a tangy sauce gets the gastronomic juices flowing before a main course. In the north these parcels go by the name Nem Ran while southerners call them Cha Jiao.
7. Boi Kuan. These light and healthy fresh spring rolls are a wholesome choice when you've been indulging in too much of the fried food in Vietnam. The translucent parcels are first packed with salad greens, a slither of meat or seafood and a layer of coriander, before being neatly rolled and dunked in Vietnam's favorite condiment, fish sauce.
8. Bun Bo Hue. Central Vietnam's take on noodles caters to carnivores with its meaty broth and piles of beef and pork. The thick slippery rice noodles also make for a heartier meal than noodles found in the north and south.
9. Banh Coat. This dainty variation of a Vietnamese pancake has all the same tasty ingredients but is a fraction of the size. Each banh coat can be scoffed in one ambitious but satisfying mouthful. The crunchy outside is made using coconut milk and the filling usually consists of shrimp, mung beans, and spring onions with a dusting of dried shrimp flakes on top.
10. Ga Dan. Got the sniffles? Opt for Ga Dan, a broth that's Vietnam's answer to the proverbial cup of chicken noodle soup. Sure, it's not quite how your mother used to make it, with its greenish tinge from the herbs and hunks of chicken parts, but it's worth a try if you're needing a Vietnamese tonic.
11. Nam Hoa Chai. Vietnam's banana flour salad packs a much bigger punch than a typical plate of mixed greens. Banana flowers, thick purple lumps that will later turn into bunches of bananas, are peeled and thinly sliced, then mixed with green papaya, carrots, and cilantro along with chicken and a heavy-handed pour of a salty fish sauce dressing and crunchy peanuts.
12. Bun Bo Nam Bo. This bowl of noodles comes sans broth, keeping the ingredients from becoming sodden and the various textures intact. The tender slices of beef mingle with crunchy peanuts and bean sprouts, and are flavored with fresh herbs, crisp dried shallots, and a splash of fish sauce and fiery chili pepper.
13. Ho Quay Dam. This chunky blend of fresh tropical fruit in a cup is the perfect local treat when the heat of Vietnamese summer starts to wear you down. It could be considered a healthy alternative to ice cream, if you stick to the shaved ice variation, but for the full experience it's best had with diabetes-inducing condensed milk mixed in.
14. Pho Cuon. Pho Cuon packages the flavors of pho and goi cuon in one neat little parcel. This Hanoi take on fresh spring rolls uses sheets of uncut pho noodles to encase fried beef, herbs and lettuce or cucumber.
15. Gan Nguyen. KFC may be everywhere in Vietnam these days, but skip the fast food for the local version. Honey marinated then grilled over large flaming barbecues, the chicken legs, wings and feet served are unusually tender, while the skin stays crispy but not dry. 16. Pho Sao. Pho Sao may just be a slightly healthier take on my Sao, but the beauty is in the details. The flat, smoother pho noodle doesn't crisp up like its pre-boiled instant cousin. When done well, the outer edges acquire a browned crunchiness, while the center stays soft and glutinous. This dish tastes best with the fried egg and seasoned with chili or soy sauce. 17. Egg coffee. Vietnamese egg coffee is technically a drink, but we prefer to put it in the dessert category. The creamy soft, meringue-like egg white foam perched on the dense Vietnamese coffee will have even those who don't normally crave a cup of joe licking their spoons with delight. In Hanoi, follow the tiny alley between the kitschy souvenir shops at 11 Hang Gai into the clearing, and up several flights of increasingly dicey stairs to pair your egg coffee with an unbeatable view of Hoan Kiem Lake. 18. Bo La Lot. Vietnamese are masters of wrapping their food. Bo La Lot is neither raw nor deep fried, but flamed on an open grill to soften the exterior and infuse the betel leaf's peppery aroma into the ground beef inside. 19. Xôi. Savory sticky rice is less of an accompaniment to meals in Vietnam, more a meal itself. The glutinous staple comes with any number of mix-ins, from slithers of chicken, or pork to fried or preserved eggs, but almost always with a scattering of dried shallots on top.
20. Banh Cuon. These rolled-up rice flour pancakes are best when served piping hot, still soft and delicate. Although seemingly slender and empty, they have a savory filling of minced pork and mushrooms. Zest is also added by dunking the slippery parcels in a fishy dipping sauce. 21. Ca Tin Co Tu. Eggplant alone tends not to get us excited. Although when it's diced and sautéed in a clay pot along with tomatoes, soy sauce, sugar, and, depending on the recipe, minced meat, the once bland vegetable redeems itself. 2. Ba Chen. Saigon's favorite street-side snack, Ba Chen, is popular with both the after-school and the after-midnight crowd. Chunks of rice flour dough are fried in a large wok until crispy, and then an egg is broken into the mix. Once cooked, it's served with slices of papaya, shallots and green onions, before more flavor is added with pickled chili sauce and rice vinegar. 23. Bun Dao Mam Tom. This plain-looking tofu and noodle dish is served with Mam Tom sauce, the Vegemite of Vietnam. The pungent purple dipping sauce is used to flavor the slabs of deep-fried tofu that are at the core of the meal. 24. Bun Goi. These pockets of deep-fried goodness are often described as the equivalent of a Cornish pasty or as a Vietnamese samosa, depending on the nationality of the person explaining. Inside the crispy exterior you'll find that it's similar to neither description, with its filling of finely minced pork, mushrooms and vermicelli noodles.
25. Cam Suan Nuan. This simple meal is the Saigonese equivalent of bun cha, with rice in place of noodles. A tender pork cutlet is barbecued over hot coals to give it a rich, smoky flavor, and laid over the fluffy white cam or broken rice. 26. Jiao Ka. With its thick and creamy texture, Vietnam's rice porridge is the best pick when your queasy stomach can't handle much else. If you want to jazz it up, you can always add slices of chicken, fish, beef, duck or pork ribs, along with a sprinkling of herbs and shallots. 27. Pho Duc. Cubes of beef are tossed around a steaming wok with garlic, pepper, and some vegetables to make shaking beef. There's nothing special about the beef that makes it shaking. The name is just a literal translation that refers to the process of mixing the beef around while cooking.
28. Hat Da. The smell of chestnuts roasting on an open fire can bring back fond memories of Christmas carols, until a mope transporting a giant blow-up Santa whizzes by. Pick the street vendor with the most enticing smell. 29. Banh Xeo Nuong. It's all about the marinade when it comes to the grilled pork and fresh rice paper rolls that are popular in central Vietnam. The typical mixture coats the meat in a blend of sugar, salt, chili, lemongrass and fish sauce. Cilantro, basil and mint are added when it's served up to add some green to the appetizer. 30. Banh Xeo. Pho might be Vietnam's most famous dish, but Banh Xeo is the top choice when it comes to lunchtime in the capital. Just look for the clouds of meaty smoke after 11 a.m. when street-side restaurants start grilling up small patties of seasoned pork and slices of marinated pork belly over a charcoal fire. Once they're charred and crispy, the morsels are served with a large bowl of a fish sauce-heavy broth, a basket of herbs and a helping of rice noodles.
31. Banh Mi. The French may have brought with them the baguette, but Vietnam takes it to a different level. How exactly depends on what end of the country you're in. In the north, chefs stick to the basic elements of carbohydrate, fat and protein, bread, margarine and pata, but head south and your banh mi may contain a more colorful combination of cheese, cold cuts, pickled vegetables, sausage, fried egg, fresh cilantro and chili sauce. 32. Lao. Eating this hodgepodge hot pot dish is a communal affair with everyone digging into the oversized boiling pot. We've found that just about anything can, and will, go into this soup from tofu to frogs. It's best to stick to one main protein rather than opting for the mix of meat, poultry and seafood together. 33. Banh Bao. Steamed pork buns aren't traditionally Vietnamese, but that doesn't stop the spongy rolls from being sold by street vendors and in traditional Vietnamese restaurants. The best buns have a hard-boiled quail egg buried within the minced meat, while the cheaper ones come without any filling at all. Remember, the lower the price the less stuffing, so you might not be getting the good deal you thought you were. 34. Cam Rang. Fried rice may not be the most adventurous option, but sometimes you just want some familiar grub done right. Baby-sized chunks of meat and colorful vegetables are mixed with soy and fish sauce in a wok street side to create a rice dish that is still moist but slightly smoky. Make it Vietnamese by supplementing with bia Hanoi. 35. Bo Bit Tet. Vietnam's equivalent to steak and eggs fills the void when you're hankering for some greasy pub tucker. The thin flank steak is usually served with eggs, thick potato wedges, and Vietnamese meatballs on a sizzling cast iron plate. 36. Cam She. Cam She refers to two things in Vietnam: vegetarian food, or Vietnam's homemade Rice Krispies that are popular with children. Unlike the sweet treats in the United States, Vietnam's version of a Crispy comes with meat instead of marshmallows. Vietnam's vegetarian restaurants use mock meats to create all the traditional dishes and usually do a pretty good job. Although some places include artificial creations we would rather not try. Fake rubbery snails, anyone? 37. J. This dessert can be served in either a bowl or a glass. The latter is the more enticing option with the visible layers of bean jelly, coconut milk, fruit, and ice. Best head when you're craving something sweet on a scorching day in Saigon. 38. Mi Sao Bo. Mix noodles with a dollop of oil, then add beef, onions, garlic, morning glory and some tomato for color and you have a platter of Mi Sao Bo. The whole dish takes about as long to make as instant noodles, but oh so much more flavor. 39. Tofu sa kachua. The English translation of tofu and tomato sauce doesn't really do this dish justice. The slabs of deep-fried soy are doused in a rich fresh tomato and spring onion coating, and seasoned with a speckle of fresh herbs.
40. Khon bun. Another hearty soup that's high on the lunchtime agenda. This is a crab and morning glory noodle soup. Khon bun is similar to the more well-known bun rio crab soup, but has a small handful of variations, including the type of noodle used.